So you know I get a lot of people who reach out to me. They want to meet me. They want to take me out for dinner, beer, drinks, sometimes a cigar. Yeah, cigar. And in the past, I used to say yes a lot. I've been involved in so many things. Lately, I've been having to say no. Sometimes I feel like the bad guy to tell people no. I appreciate people who watch the videos, support the channel, and they come way over here to Dominican Republic, and they just want to just have a conversation, man. And I get it.
Right.
I mean, I get it. I understand it. But with so many people asking that, it's impossible for me to do.
That's
because
right.
if I say yes to everybody, then I'm saying no to something else that's, I'm not saying this person's not important, but what's important to me at the time.
But here's the thing, with the amount of requests that you get, and it's a great thing, folks, showing support, showing love that way, but with the amount of requests that you get to go out for drinks and so forth, if you say yes to every last one of them, you're gonna be saying no to family time.
Right.
You're going to be saying no maybe to a project that needs your attention.
Right.
So by saying yes all the time, there's something in the background that you're saying no to that can be more important, that could take you to the next level.
Right.
And you're saying yes to this individual to go out have a drink, and you're not putting work into that right there.
And I don't think people understand that. I don't think they understand when they say yes to something, no matter what it is.
You're saying no to something
You're
else.
saying no to something else. It just led me to think that I don't think most people fail because they don't have the opportunities. I think people fail because they don't know how to say no.
Here's the thing, right? So, like the conversation we just had, if you're saying yes to everything, right? Saying yes to things that's not gonna help you or motivate you or take you to the next level, you're saying no to things that can actually be helpful. Right. Okay, let's say you're saying yes to not getting up in the morning, right? You're saying no maybe to going to the gym, to put that work in.
Right.
You know, you're saying yes to having, a good time outside up until 3 o'clock in the morning. You're saying no to getting up early to, again, put that work in.
Right.
So for every yes you're saying no to something that could be there to help you propel your life to the next level.
Right. And you got to think about that before you say yes.
Yeah.
You got to think about what you're saying no to. Yesterday, someone hit me up, a viewer of the channel. Her and her husband was coming here. They live in Punta Cana, but they were here for whatever reason. They were like, hey, before we head back to Punta Cana, we're going to be at the cigar lounge. Hey, come join us, have a cigar. I immediately want to say no anyway because, I mean, I got things to do, especially on a Sunday. You know, I do a lot of my recordings on Sunday. But then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll go. What time? And she said 11 a.m. And at that point, I already knew it was a hard no.
Right.
Because I needed to be here.
Right.
And I knew that if I went there at 11 a.m., it was probably going to extend 2 to 3 hours. And that would have been saying yes to her.
And no to being here.
And no to being here. And to me, this is more valuable.
Exactly. But here's the thing, too. A lot of folks have problem saying no.
Right.
And folks, no is a full sentence. Just N and O. But here's the thing, right? Because we're so uncomfortable with saying no, we give the soft no's. We give the no's followed with the explanation.
Right.
And when you give a no followed by an explanation, basically you're saying, hey, is it okay? So you're asking that individual you're saying no to accept it.
Right.
And if he does it, you feel good.
Right.
Saying no, because I think it stems from when we were children, right? So our parents put that into us, being the good little boy, being respectful, saying yes to helping individuals. And so it stayed with us. It's ingrained in us. And as adults, we've learned by saying yes, it's easier than saying no.
Right.
By saying no, you're setting a boundary.
Right.
You're setting a boundary. And there's a lot of folks, right, that have a problem
with you setting boundaries.
Setting boundaries by just saying no. They take offense to it.
Right.
They think it's a personal attack on them.
Exactly.
But again, some of them don't realize when you're saying yes to them, there's something else you're saying no to.
And even like you say, as adults, we even carried that from childhood to adulthood, because even when we get into the workforce, we're taught to be a good employee. When we're in a relationship, we're taught to be a good husband, good wife, or whatever, happy wife, happy life type thing. So I think that people need to understand what saying yes is costing them.
By saying yes, right, against something you want to say no to, it weighs heavy on your spirit.
Right.
when you know like you're saying yes to something and you don't want to do it, it weighs on you because you know,
Right.
why didn't I just say no? And
Right.
you're there and you're not there 100%.
Right.
You're giving, but you're not giving 100%.
I've done that a lot. I done said yes
I've
to
been
stuff.
there. And don't want to be there.
And don't want to be there.
Listen, man, and you're just like counting the time of when you can break out. And sometimes it wears on you. And if you do that consistently, it wears your spirit down, man.
Right.
It wears on you.
So why do you think saying no makes us as adults still feel uncomfortable?
You know, good question. I believe it still stems from childhood. And I think a lot of them, they say we're basically formed by the age of 7, right? So our personalities are formed by age 7, and you are who you are, you know? And changing that requires a lot of work. It takes consistency, it takes work, it takes discipline. So when we're fed by our parents, you know, to always be the likable one,
Right.
to be the respectful one, and saying yes is part of that. We take that into adulthood, and then we get into the workplace, like you mentioned, and then we start saying yes to things, and then by adding more hours and so forth. And here's the thing too, the sad part of it, there's people that's gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You're agreeable, you know, he's the one that always says yes, you're gonna be the one that's gonna be asked 9 times out of 10.
Right.
Because you haven't set that boundary and you haven't realized just by saying no, full stop, it's a full answer.
Right. I think we're uncomfortable saying it as well is because we don't want to disappoint people. I think
So
disappointment is. I don't know about
It's
you, but
gut-wrenching.
it is. I feel a certain way when I disappoint people. So I think that's one reason it makes us uncomfortable.
Again, by saying yes instead of saying no, right, you alleviate, you put yourself in a state of comfort, right? A state of comfort. You're not free. There's no freedom involved in it, but you're comfortable.
Right.
So you avoid making a hard choice. And the hard choice at that moment could have been just saying, hey, you know what? Nah, I'm not up to it tonight. I'll skip it. I'm good.
And so now in today's time, we have social media, which influences us, and also just social norms, society influence us. You think that plays a big part in people saying yes? Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think social media, society, right? I think that it plays a major, major role into individuals saying yes.
Okay.
If you look at just by commercials alone, right? Marketing, right? Marketing basically wires your brain to saying yes to things that you don't even need.
Right.
You don't even need, right?
Right.
And here's the thing: you do your research and know and find out that it's not good for you, but because it's on a consistent rotation and you're seeing it, you're saying yes to it.
Right.
So social media and society and the marketing and the whole does play a role into us saying yes.
And you could tell the influence of social media because, you know, especially when it comes to entertainers and artists and things like that. Everybody, you see one artist, what they have on, then next thing you see a little mini-me's. You know,
Right.
when Nicki Minaj came out, it was, what, a million Nicki Minaj
Right,
mini-me's, pink wigs,
It's
you know, things like that. So, yeah, man.
It's the influence. The influence is there, man. Again, you know, it influences individuals, man, to say a lot of yeses to things they should be saying no to. And you know what, bro? The problem isn't saying no. The problem is asking what every yes is costing us.
Yeah, because every yes is also a no.
Exactly.
So it's almost like even when you say yes to overtime, you're saying no to your family. When you're scrolling on social media, spending hours and hours scrolling on social media, you're saying no to reading. So you got to keep in mind that every time you say yes to something, you're actually saying no to something else. So don't think that you're saying yes and it's just a yes, no. You're saying yes to that and you're saying no to something else.
Exactly.
What's one yes that you wish that you never said yes to?
Good question, bro.
When you said I do?
Good one. I could elaborate on that, but I'm gonna take it back to high school. In high school, we used to live in Brooklyn prior to moving to Queens, and so in my stay in Brooklyn, I took an exam to get into a high school. The high
Okay.
school was Nazareth. I took an exam for other high schools, but they was all Catholic high schools, great high schools, and I actually got accepted to two. I chose Nazareth, right? So I was going to Nazareth, 9th grade. Your boy was excelling, right? Honor roll, doing my thing. But moved to Far Rockaway, so made friends out there, and all of them kept asking me, yo, why you taking a bus ride going to Brooklyn? Why you doing that? Yo, just go to Beach Channel. And I'm like, I should, right? So I said yes, going to Beach Channel instead of staying in Nazareth. You know, fought with my dad. Finally, he relented and started going to Beach Channel. And folks, that's when everything changed, right? So that's the one yes. I look back, had I continued in Nazareth, where my life would have went, as opposed to going to Beach Channel and having everything change. So I look back at that and like, wow, yeah, that's a yes that if I can go back, maybe I would not have made.
What trajectory were you on when you were going to Nazareth?
Bro, Nazareth was, I was wearing hard bottoms, man. Listen, man. I was good. I was really good, doing good. Here's the thing, when I transferred to the Beach Channel, I just got in with the wrong crowd. I cut school from Easter to Christmas. Right? Yeah, your boy wasn't going. And then he called my dad.
Easter to Christmas?
Yeah, bro. I was running.
Bro, that's like 8 months.
No.
Easter's in April.
Yeah. Yeah. And so they finally called my dad in. They called him in, Mr. Center, man. And he looked at my grades at Nazareth. And he saw I was on the honor roll, and he looked at the grades I was getting. He couldn't understand it, man. And at that time, I was in the 11th grade, and I was now on the verge of graduating, man. He told my dad, listen, man, I could put him in a program, LaGuardia Community College, right? I put him in a program. He can get his GED there, and he can take that and go and go straight into college. So I went there. Long story short, I went to LaGuardia. I got my GED, right? But here's the thing, I got my GED too early. I was too young, right, when I got it, because I was breezing through the course. I couldn't go to college, and they wouldn't let me graduate because my class hadn't graduated yet. Right. So your boy had extra time in his hands.
Wow.
So much time, I got lost in the mix, man. And bro, with you, what has yes cost you the most?
I mean, off the top of my head, I would probably say maybe staying in HR too long. Possibly staying in Alabama too long, worrying about other people's expectations. I think that had I made my mind up to leave Alabama earlier, I think I would have been on a different trajectory.
But you were saying no, right? You were saying no not to leave, but saying yes to stay because family, comfort, and security. Gotcha.
Back then, I wasn't as much of a risk taker as I am now. Now, I've always been the one who would mind, putting up taking risks with money. I've always done that, but not really taking risks with, leaving my comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? So saying yes to staying in Huntsville, Alabama, I think cost me. Would you say it cost me anything, or would you just say it just put me on a different trajectory?
I would say it cost you that part of your life that you could have had.
Right.
But then again, it gave birth to this part of life. Let me ask you, bro, what do you think people spend more time worrying about? A missed opportunity or a wasted opportunity?
I think people spend more time worrying about a missed opportunity.
Why you say that?
The reason is because I think throughout our life, I think we're presented with certain opportunities, whether it be that we don't believe in opportunity, or I would say a lot of people think when they see opportunity, it's a scam. As far as myself, I probably spent more time in my life worrying about wasted opportunities more so than missed opportunities, because there have been times where I had opportunities and I don't think I fully engaged and capitalized on it like I should have. I was in, going back to the music business, I was in rooms with certain people just because I had this reservedness about me,
right?
This shyness about me. I didn't do anything. What about you? What'd you think?
I mean, for me, wasted opportunity. For me, going into something and not giving it 100%, right? I've seen myself do that a couple of times. So you saw yourself doing more wasted opportunity than missed opportunity. Right. Given the opportunity to take one thing one way and then not capitalizing on it, and just giving it half-assed.
Right.
And then later on down the line, like looking back, like God damn, had I went in and gave 100%, right, maybe it would have been different. You know?
So I guess one example would be, as a missed opportunity when, what'd you say, Bitcoin was $10.
Exactly.
That's a missed opportunity.
You didn't go. Wait, listen, this is a missed opportunity.
Right.
Listen, Bitcoin's $10. You like, listen, I'm not getting into it.
Right.
I won't get into it.
Right.
You missed the opportunity. You
Right.
missed it, man. Like getting it at that price range and then watching it blow. So that's a definite missed opportunity. I would say wasted opportunity. If someone presents, an opportunity to you, say for example, I don't know, open up a wine distillery and you go in half-ass, right? You give it a half-ass attempt and then it shuts down. And then someone else gets the same opportunity and gives it 100% and
Right.
it blows up. You
Right.
took an opportunity, wasted it, while someone else took it and made the best out of
And they
it.
capitalized on
Yeah,
it.
and capitalized on it.
So basically, I think regret is not created by the no's. It's created by the yeses that we never said. We never should have said in the beginning.
I gotta agree. Yeah, I gotta agree. Sometimes you say yes to certain things that doesn't resonate with spirit, that doesn't resonate with you, who you are.
Right.
Right? And then you look back on it and it's just like, man, I went against everything I believe in.
Right.
It's regrettable. It's regrettable.
It's almost like, when you talk about successful people, people think successful people, they do more, but they don't realize that a lot of successful people, to be successful, they have to eliminate more.
Basically, they have to say a lot more no's.
No's, exactly.
Right.
People like Steve Jobs.
Right. I mean, imagine Steve Jobs saying yes to every meeting that someone wants to have with him.
Right.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible. I think successful people have, I don't know, they've harnessed, right, the power of saying no
Right.
and sticking with it.
Right.
And not feeling any type of way about it. Right? They just harnessed it, they're still, and that's it. A no's a no. And it's a direct no.
Right. I haven't gotten there yet,
Right? No, listen, I am still working on it myself. I'm still,
but I understand it.
Right.
I understand.
It needs to be done because, again, it sets a firm boundary.
Right.
And anyone that goes against that boundary, right, is going against you.
Right.
And because most people, they like the yes version.
Right.
When you say no, they like, oh, he's changed. He's changed. He's different, and they take offense to it.
Right.
But the successful people, the top 1%, these people, they're built that way.
Right.
They built that way.
So basically, successful people, they don't have to have more discipline. The thing that they have is they have to be more ruthless about what and who
they're allowing
in their lives.
Oof. Yeah, a lot of us don't have that. A lot of us, if we go back, to our childhood, that's embedded in us, just to be the nice guy.
Right.
And just saying yes. These folks, man, they could have been, right, had that same upbringing, but somehow along the way, they've transitioned, transformed themselves, and they are where they are. Saying no is powerful, right? It frees up a lot, man. It gives you freedom. It gives you more freedom than anything else, man. I mean, saying yes, I mean, you're in the comfort mode, right? It's easy to say yes.
Yeah.
Easy to say yes. Saying no and sticking to it, it's difficult.
When you say saying no gives you more freedom, it almost sounds like a oxymoron when you're saying, because you're saying no,
right.
and it frees you up.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's so true, folks.
Yeah.
It's so true. And here's the thing, too. You got to think, with every decision that you make, does it take you away from freedom, or does it move you closer to freedom?
Right. So it's like, taking that new job, buying that new car, taking that luxury trip, is it moving you closer to freedom, or is it pulling you further away from it?
With the freedom, if you take a look at it, right, depends on what your definition of freedom is. Freedom for us, man, is time, right? Time. So with that, we might think twice before buying certain things, right? Because that allows the money to be invested somewhere else where it's going to generate more and provide us more freedom, because freedom is time.
So when you moved here, what did you have to say no to?
Oof. Good question. Yeah, right. So I had to say no to seeing family,
Yep.
right? Being around family. I had to say no to the lifestyle that I was living,
Yep.
right? And that opened doors to the lifestyle here.
Right.
So it had to be a hard no. And the no, again, is difficult, right? It comes with a certain amount of work, because it could be regrettable, but it has to be made.
Right.
So I made that hard no, right, by saying no, I won't be close to the family. No, right, to that lifestyle. and then saying yes to here.
Yeah. Because what you said no to back there, you were saying,
Saying yes to here.
there. Right.
And tell me, so what do you think would have happened if you would have never said no?
We would have never said no?
Yeah, if we would have never said no.
We wouldn't be here.
There you go. Ain't that the truth?
we wouldn't be here.
Ain't that the
Full
truth?
stop. We wouldn't be here.
Facts.
You know,
Facts.
we had to say no to whatever life we previously had in order to say yes here.
Exactly.
I believe that, well, it's true. Actually, it's true for everybody that's here.
Yep.
That's living here, that's from another country. They had to say no to wherever they came from to say yes to here.
Exactly. And imagine, too, that no is a hard no.
It's a hard no.
Because you're saying no, right?
Ain't no maybes.
Nah, ain't no maybes involved. You're saying no to everything that you know.
Right.
Right? To the surroundings you're familiar with. And you're saying yes to the unknown.
Right.
That takes a certain amount of courage and discipline to pull that off.
Right. You're saying no to comfort.
Yeah.
You're saying no to convenience.
Right.
You're saying no to familiarity.
Right.
You're saying no to friends. And you're saying yes to the unknown. To inconveniences, new people,
New language.
new
Yo.
culture, all that.
The unknown.
The unknown.
Facts.
Right. Think
Facts.
about that.
That's why the no is so difficult,
Right.
man.
Right.
So difficult.
And that's why it's hard for people to do what we did.
Of course, man. Of course.
They can't say no to all that.
No. They can't. I mean, imagine that, right? They leaving, comfort, right? To come into something that's uncomfortable.
Right.
Because you got to start fresh.
Right. It's definitely uncomfortable in the beginning.
Very, very. And it's a muscle, right? You got to work it out, right? You got to work it out for it to get strong. But some folks don't want to put in that work.
So basically, we've been almost just blaming other people this whole time about, saying no to other people.
Right.
But to be honest with you, the hardest person that I've ever had to say no to is myself.
Facts. I mean, it takes, again, I go back to discipline. By saying no to yourself and saying no to certain vices, right? Certain vices that you enjoy, it's difficult. Because again, you gotta look at that man in the mirror.
Right.
And you gotta respond to that man in the mirror, Because if you go against you, right, nobody else might know but yourself, it's 100 times worse.
Yeah.
Because you gotta live with yourself, right? So yeah, the hardest person I would say to saying no to is the man in the mirror.
Right.
But again, that no is hard.
Right.
That no is hard.
Because it forces you to change. You said in the last podcast that you like a routine. You like a good routine.
Yeah, routine, yeah.
And we all like good routines.
Exactly.
And anything that knocks us off our routine, we question it or it makes us feel uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable, exactly. When you have a routine going and then someone comes in to change that routine, listen, no. Knowing what's good for you and holding on to that, right, is doing justice and service to you, to that internal you, to that person that you look into the mirror every day. Don't just go around saying yes, man, yes to people. Saying yes to an invite, saying yes, come over. No, when you know deep down you don't want to.
Right.
Make that hard choice. It's uncomfortable, but
make
do
the
it
choice.
anyway. Make that choice. No is a complete sentence.
So what's one habit that you finally had to say no to?
Oh man. Smoking cigarettes.
You smoke cigarettes?
I used to. Listen, I used to smoke the Newports. You know it.
The Newports.
Yeah, and weed too, man. But Newports more than anything, man.
How long you smoke Newport?
Yeah, I started in high school, man. And I stopped. I stopped smoking back in, I don't know, 95, I think, 96.
How you give it up?
Yo, I made a choice. I made a choice, man. I just said I wasn't gonna do it.
And
no
you
more,
stopped?
And I stopped.
My mama did that. She quit.
I just
cold turkey.
Cold turkey, bang. I just stopped. Yeah, and I stopped weed, but weed wasn't my thing really, but the cigarette was. So that's one thing I said no to, and I'm happy because I heard like if you stop smoking for 20 years, it cleans your lungs out,
Oh, really?
Yeah, from what I've read. But yeah, that's one thing I'm so happy that I gave. Now I look at people doing it, and I'm like, how do you do that? Your clothes gonna smell like smoke, your hands, your hair.
Yeah.
But folks, yeah, that's one thing that I said a hard no to, and happy that I stuck with it. Discipline. Do you think that's just learning how to say no to yourself?
Absolutely. Oof. Yeah, absolutely. It's easy to say no to other people.
Right.
But to say no to yourself is even harder.
Because there's nobody watching you, nobody's there.
Right. Nobody's holding you accountable.
Exactly.
So when just think about you. You on this clarity fast.
Right.
I know you got a bottle in there. I know you got a bottle in there. Nobody is I can't monitor whether you did it or not.
Exactly. You wouldn't know if I did it.
Right. I wouldn't know.
But I would know, right?
Right. So it's harder for, it's more discipline for you to say no to yourself. Right.
True. Because again, there's no one holding you accountable but yourself.
Right.
You know, the only person you're really gonna be is that man in the mirror.
Right.
And so it's harder. It's harder.
I believe that you could do it, and you've done it because I've done it before.
Right.
I've done it with liquor in my cabinet. Well, I was like, I'm just not gonna drink it. And I wouldn't drink it.
There you go. That requires that discipline, folks.
Right. But you know what I have to do sometimes? I have to pick something else up.
Balance it out, right?
To balance out. So I get on my coffee.
There you go. I was about to say
because
that.
I didn't want to, when I go and have a cigar, I found myself having a cigar and liquor. And it was like, I don't want to do both of this every time I do this, so I need to figure something out. So I remove the liquor and I replace it with coffee. When I have a cigar now, I drink coffee. And for me, I like it better with coffee. I don't know if you did that when you were smoking the cigarettes, to stop smoking cigarettes. Did you pick up something else that was kind of balance it out until you was just fully off of it?
No, listen, when I used to smoke, it was always great after you eat dinner or while you're having a drink. You know what I'm saying? It was just something to do, keep in your hands. But for me, what I've noticed too, since I've taken the 30 days, fasting from drinking, I like my coffee, so I might have an extra cup of coffee.
Right.
Just to balance that out a little bit.
Right. What I used to think that when I said no, it was going to close doors, because you naturally think that, hey, if I say no to this person, that it's going to close doors for maybe a relationship or a partnership or something like that. But then when I think about it, everything meaningful that I've done in my life started with me saying no.
You know what? I got to tie in too. That's the mindset as well, right? If you believe in an abundance mindset, by saying no, there's going to be tons of opportunities. Right. Some individuals work with the scarcity, right? They have a scarcity mindset, so they feel that if they say no to this, there's going to be no other opportunities, right? You could use, us fellas, with a girl, right? You get this girl, and she's no good. You see the red flags. You see the red flags, right? But instead of saying no, putting that boundary, right? You continue, because the scarcity mindset, she might be a baddie. You're saying, man, ooh, she's a baddie. Maybe I might not be able to get one like her again.
Right.
But once you have that abundance mind frame, you're like, there's a bunch of baddies out there. I won't accept that. My boundary is a no, and no's a no. If you don't respect the boundary, you're out the door, because the abundance mindset tells me I'm going to attract more.
Right.
So with you have that abundance mindset, so it's easier to say that no, because you're going to attract more.
Right. You're right about that. I think, but most people don't have that abundance mindset. No. And they look like, man, if I miss this opportunity,
that's it.
Maybe there's not another
one coming through.
Right.
Yeah, the scarcity mindset, it runs rampant. It runs rampant. People, the lack, they tend to focus more on the lack than focus on the possibilities of what could be.
Right.
So you got to open your mind and have that abundance mindset to know that you can attract more, and then the no then becomes easier.
Right. Because I've always, not always, but I started looking at opportunity as a bus route.
Ooh. Okay.
Like, when you go and stand at a bus route, if you don't have enough money to get on the bus that time, that bus is going to come back around to that same stop. And at some point, you're going to have enough money to get on
the bus.
So opportunity to me works like that it comes in circles.
But see, again, that's dealing with that abundance mindset, right? Because it's going to come and around.
Yeah, it's going to come back around.
There's certain individuals that miss that bus and like, oh my God, that's it.
Right.
They'll leave the bus stop and never come back.
Right.
So having that mindset is very important, folks. It's very important, man. Basically, it dictates what type of life you have.
Right. So I don't think that we become new people by adding more to our life. I think we become new people by letting a lot of things go, or some things go, and letting that old version of ourselves just die.
I have to agree with that. We become more with less.
Right.
By killing certain versions of us, we birth a new us.
I done probably killed about 4 or 5 versions of myself.
There you go.
4 or 5 versions of myself.
And, you know, and that's growth.
Right.
And that's growth. And the unfortunate thing is, most people are stuck. They're stuck with that version of who they are,
Right.
and they won't change.
Right.
This is me. You accept me as I am, and that's it.
Right.
No room for growth, no room for change.
Right.
And that doesn't work. Life doesn't work that way.
Yeah. I see people like that, especially older guys, man. It's like they still in arrested development. You know, they're
Living out their second childhood.
yeah. It's like you're still running around, you know, acting like they 20 years old.
You're stuck in that mindset, right? And you haven't cultivated and changed your way of thinking, or even change the way that you look at life.
Right.
You know, because life isn't the same as it was for me when I was 20.
Right.
You know, it's definitely not. So if I'm thinking the way I was at 20, I probably wouldn't be. No, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Right. Because, you know, I think I told you when I posted that video, you and I was, you know, in Sasua, and I kind of like did us at the bar pen.
Okay,
you know,
yeah,
I did
okay.
that little small video. We ate at Bailey's. You know, I get this. It's got to be a 60-year-old man who
I think
comes
you did tell me that.
and like,
You did.
hey man, but what are women at, man?
Right.
It's like, bro, you 60.
Right.
I just don't understand that.
Nah. That's,
Kill that 20-year-old should have been dead.
Right. I mean, it gets to a certain point. Again, it's all about growth and development,
Right.
where you can't be thinking the way you thought when you were 20, even when it comes to women.
Right.
You know, I mean, at this stage of the game, right, you want to deal with someone that's going to bring value, peace, and reciprocity to your life. It ain't just about, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But again, if you did that when you were younger, you've done that. You passed that stage. You're at a stage now where you want to build, or you just want peace.
Right.
But if someone's going to come into your life, they gotta bring that. They gotta offer that.
Right.
It ain't just about where the chick's at.
Right.
Nah, bro. No, that's your 20-year-old self.
So sitting up here talking, every single major decision I've made in my life, I've disappointed somebody. Whether it was when I quit my job, people thought I was crazy. When I moved here to the Dominican Republic, people questioned it.
Right.
Have you felt the same?
Yeah, yes. But you know what? I think we have to be more concerned, right, with disappointing ourselves. I think at the end of the day, you listen, wherever you go, there you are. So I think you should be more worried and focused on letting yourself down.
Right.
Making a decision that goes against everything that you believe in. We still have the internal work to do. I know I'm still doing it. You know, saying yes, right, and not feeling happy about it, as opposed to saying no and letting all that, you know, people pleasing, that regret thing, stay here and then just work it out to push it away. So yeah, I think you got to be more focused, more in line to, you know, worrying about you. And how does that affect you?
Right. To be honest with you, I don't even think that I could have gotten to where I am now without disappointing people. Have you noticed that every time you grow, it makes somebody else uncomfortable?
Right, yeah. When you see your growth, right, and you want to spread your wings, right? You want to push your shoulders back because you know what it took to get to where you are. Right, and you're around certain people that haven't put that work in, right, and then you want to talk about your accomplishments. They'll take a look at it and say, "Hey, look at Jay bragging," you know. Yep. Then you're at a point where you got to play small to fit into their small place, right? Because if you're out there, you know what I'm saying, stressed out, talking about your accomplishments, and they haven't reached that level yet, they're looking at it as if you're just, you know, being braggadocious.
Right, and you know what? I see that to this day.
Right.
When I see it, it's almost like, you know, they do want me to play small because of where they are in their life. What I don't understand is, why does my growth make you feel uncomfortable?
I mean, certain people, right? Certain people are not there. They're not there. They're not as focused. They're not as driven, right? They're not out there hustling, and so you speaking on it.
You know what we call them people though? Losers.
You know, if you call them that, they'll take offense to it, right? But here's the thing though, the work required to get to that specific level, they might not have it in them to do it. And you speaking that way, it's a mirror, right? You are a mirror to what they should be doing, but lack the consistency and the discipline to do that. So by you being that mirror, man, they don't want to look at that mirror. You're just a reflection of what they are not.
Right. You know, just going back to that, you know, making them uncomfortable. You know, you asked me earlier, even before we got on the podcast, you know, have I ever experienced that? And I have, you know, especially when I go back home to Alabama, you know, around some of the people that I grew up with. The conversations just are not the same.
It's not the same.
You know, I don't even know how to. They all, you know, most of them still stay in the same neighborhood we grew up in.
Listen.
And not that they haven't really elevated from a, you know, they may not be doing the same things like illegal, but they're still in the same box.
I got a term for that. I call it small place mindset. Living in a small place. It's just, you know, they confined, man, within, like you said, within that box, within that small space, and you cannot show them anything outside of that small space.
And if you talk outside of that,
yo, what happened? Where's Jay at? Where's the Jay that they are accustomed to, right? The Jay that they're accustomed to, that was within that small box with them. You jumped over that. You like, yo, there's more out here.
Right.
But they don't want to do that work. They don't want to get to the other side. And you bring that news about there's more to life than here.
Right.
They're not trying to hear it.
All the guys I grew up with, man, I'm the only person that lives somewhere else.
They still in Alabama.
They're still in Alabama.
Can't do it. I couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't do it, man. For me, moving is moving. Right? So I'm gonna buy somewhere else. I'm not gonna buy in the same block that I was renting.
Right.
No. I'm just thinking just outside of the box, outside of the small place. Certain folks can do it. You can be raised here and then live your whole life.
I can't do that.
I can't do it, man.
Yeah, I can't do it.
They
drive me crazy.
Yo, my God. And certain folks, they take pride in that. And I'm not knocking it, but it's just something that I can't do.
Right. You know, when I look at people I went to high school with, and they still stay in Mobile, it's like...
Oh, Jesus, man. Listen, a lot of brothers that I ran with, they have branched out and left, you know what I'm saying, or no longer with us. But there's a few that still lives in the community where, whoa, bro. You got to stretch, man. You got to stretch, man. Life is about stretching, about, you know, expanding and just seeing what it has to offer, man. When you stay in the same place, man, and you don't open your mind to the possibilities and the what ifs, you're doing yourself a disservice.
So do you think people are afraid of saying no, or they're just more afraid of disappointing people? Because I think people know what they need to do.
Right.
They just scared of the reaction.
They're scared of the disappointment, of causing that disappointment. They're fearful of the uneasiness behind that no.
Right.
You know? So yeah, I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you, man. It's difficult. It requires a certain internal fortitude, you know, to say no, set that boundary, and be comfortable with it. Yeah. And most people are not. Yeah. And you know, I'm not taking away, listen, I had to build that too. You know what I'm saying? It's sharpen that, you know, it's a sword, you gotta sharpen it, you gotta, you know, I don't wanna do that. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. There's a guilt that comes with that, man.
Yeah, like I say, they're scared of that reaction.
The reaction.
They don't want to see the reaction of the person that they're probably disappointed.
You know, when people lose access to the old version of you, that also creates discomfort.
Right. Like you said, when you were smoking weed, or somebody was smoking weed and they was drinking. When you decided you don't want to smoke weed or you don't want to drink no more, I'd have done that, but what your partner said, oh, you old brand new, you think he better than him.
Listen, when I stopped smoking, right, and I knew that was it, I was getting tested. If you really, listen to this test. If you really stop smoking, you can smoke a cigarette, right, and then stop tomorrow.
Right.
I stopped smoking, I'm not touching it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you can't guilt me into doing it. You can't trick me into doing it. My no's a no. You know, I'm not going back to doing it. If you into working out, right, and you wasn't before, and you used to hang with a crowd that used to go eat, I'd say at McDonald's and so forth, and you stop doing that, and you start working out and eating veggies and eating right, what are you gonna be talking about?
Right.
They're gonna lose access to who you was, right? Because you're a new person.
Right, and that makes them feel uncomfortable.
Very.
But it makes you feel better.
Of course, man. If they look, again, you'll be that mirror, right? So you're gonna be a reflection of what they're not.
Right.
They see you trimming down, you're working out, you're eating right. But they don't have the capacity to do it, and you're around them.
Right.
Yeah. they're gonna be a little upset.
So I don't think saying no is hard. I think dealing with other people's disappointment is what makes it harder. But maybe the life that you've been always praying for is hiding behind this one conversation that you've been totally avoiding. So Pat, you got anything else, man?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, folks, if you were sitting out here in the balcony with us, right? What's the one thing you would say no to this week so you can say yes to the life that you really want?
Put it in the comment section below. Until the next time, we out.
Peace.
Yeah. Life looks different from here. Yeah. Different view, different road. Different dreams than the ones we were told. Left some things behind. Found a little peace of mind. From the balcony we see it clear. Life looks different from here. Balcony boys, yeah. Life looks different from here.